everyone, good morning. It's Janine, Felicity.
And Jen from Ready Together. We thought we'd jump on today. We want to have a chat about the year that was 2020. This is the year that pandemic hit, and we set up Ready Together to kind of have a space that women and dads, mums and dads could come together. And we really wanted to use this opportunity to reintroduce ourselves, to talk about Ready Together, what it's been, and maybe where it's heading in 2021.
Yeah. Why we started, why we got together.
And just have a chat. So to kick off, to remind anyone that doesn't know us all, we thought we would reintroduce who we are and how this whole thing came together. So to start with, I'm Jen. I'm an obstetric social worker and a parent educator, and I work in a private hospital. I see women all the time, and when the pandemic hit, for me, I was just suddenly feeling like we were sending people out into the community and there was nothing. At that point, the mothers groups were completely shut, and I think we all had a chat and just went, we have to do something. We have to have a space, because we were sending people home to nothing.
Yes.
So that's me. My passion is working with new parents around connecting with their babies, around how to create a secure attachment in the first year, and then also working with people often having their second or third baby, and toddlers and everything that presents. And that's the kind of stuff I'm really enjoying bringing to Ready Together.
We love that you bring that to because it's so important. We've got so many parents that are second-time parents and wondering how to introduce a baby to their toddler and all of that. So it's been awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm Felicity. So I am a midwife and a lactation consultant, and I think I really started off because of the struggles and challenges that I had myself when I was having my babies. And in terms of what we're doing now with Ready Together, it's really, as Jen said, that those conversations that we had when things was first, I don't think anybody knew what was actually happening, but day by day, services were shutting down, and I'd get phone calls from mums saying, my baby's 5 or 6 days old and nobody's coming over anymore, and the all the midwifery at home from the hospital was stopping, and the telehealth was just starting to happen. So we really were all talking about what to do, and then it just grew from there, I think. Yeah. So
it did. So I'm Janine. I had previously registered nurse, worked for many years in New Zealand in the obstetric area. Moved to Australia, did some mentoring with some teen mums through Raise, and then trained as a doula, which has been absolutely fantastic. And when the pandemic hit, it was one of my mums actually that was looking forward to starting her mother's group with the Early Childhood Centre, and they shut that week. So she had moved different areas, didn't know anybody, and I said to Felicity, who I knew well at that point and then had just met Jen, we got together and we were just saying, okay, well, what are we going to do? There's all this information out there. We were actually not being able to go and visit in homes sometimes too. So we decided to bring all of our years of knowledge and 11 kids between us, so we've done this 3 times, to the group, and we started up the group, and it was much needed at the time. And our passion is really sort of looking after new mums, pregnant mums, bringing a safe space for everybody with knowledge and care and humour if we need it, and togetherness and connection. And it's been fantastic. I
think we do, pregnancy and labour and birth really well in this country. We're so fortunate.
But what about the baby?
Once you have the baby, then you go home. And I think before everything happened, you'd go home anyway and be like, what do I do? But then it's even more so, earlier this year when all those services were just shutting down and changing so dramatically.
One of the things we've all chatted about a lot is the information overload is such a big and hard thing for new parents to navigate.
Absolutely.
And so we did want to bring information to people, but we wanted it to be curated. Like we kind of know what helps and what works.
Yeah.
And we wanted to bring the right voices in. And I think being able to do that at a time when people weren't able to access other stuff was really good.
Yeah, because I mean, I think we've all, I know I certainly have, you know, that onslaught of information and all the different opinions and all the different advice, and that can be absolutely so overwhelming and a big problem in itself because you just don't know, or you know, who do I listen to?
Yeah, and you can feel really alone at this time anyway, and then with no visitation, like you were saying earlier, midwives weren't able to come and see young mums, and they were really lost.
Yeah.
Even if it's why a baby is crying all day, or how to settle your baby, or what to expect. So we had the time and the space to talk about that and chat it through, because midwives, even if they could come, they're so busy, poor things, and they really only had a short amount of time. So we've loved that other mothers have helped other mothers within the group as well. So they've brought their breadth of experience to a brand new mum that's come in.
Yeah, that's one of the highlights of the group is
Yeah.
having someone who's maybe got a 6-month-old baby and someone with a 6-week-old baby, and then seeing that mum for mum type vibe happening.
Yeah.
And I've loved the private group in that way that someone can jump on and ask a question, and you've just got instantly all this kind of really helpful advice from people that are maybe a few weeks more or a few months more down the track.
Yeah, and I think it's brought that sort of sense of relief, I think, you know, when you realise you're not the only person.
Yes.
You're not the only one who's dealing with this.
Yeah, it's not just you with the crying baby that won't latch or, you know, won't sleep.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen it on a few faces.
And especially when we do the 4-month sleep regression or progression, and everybody realises, everyone's in the same boat. You know, that's so awesome.
Yeah. We've seen mums come in, we've seen the babies grow.
Yeah.
Mums being there at the beginning in March pregnant, and they've had their baby, and we've seen them every week on the way through. It's been really lovely. I feel like we know them really well.
Yeah, it has been amazing.
And I've loved seeing more and more screens turning on.
Yes,
you know,
in the groups.
Whether you're in your pajamas with your coffee, babies
absolutely
crying, whatever. It's been really great.
Yeah, for us, seeing those babies that, for some of the mums that were pregnant, you know, sitting on a football inside our groups, and then to see that baby grow month by month has just been incredible, hasn't it?
Absolutely. So it's been really, actually surprising, I think. I actually didn't, I don't know about you two, but I didn't think in terms of what I would take from it.
Yeah.
I was more thinking, you know, we need to do something, you know, it's sort of almost a panic state of, we can't go to people's homes, what are we going to do? So yeah, it has been a lovely surprise, I suppose.
And for us as well, working together, getting to know each other in a different way. That's been awesome.
Absolutely.
And then what about interviewing Howard Chilton and Maggie Dean and Vanessa Lapointe? Like all these people, we just were like, oh my God.
I can't believe they agreed.
So that
more
was awesome. And we'd love to do more of that, wouldn't we?
Definitely.
And they loved it, jumped on board straight
I
away.
Know. It was so good.
That was really nice actually, because we were all stuck in our homes as well.
Yes.
So it was really nice to be able to.
So what about 2020 in general? Like, what are your views, guys, on what it was like to have a baby? How was it different this year in a pandemic in Australia than it was in other years? We've all worked in the space for a while. What do you think? What really stood out as the challenges or the pros?
I think the isolation.
I
think that's the biggest thing. I think not only a mum being at home by herself with a baby, friends were not able to visit, family were not able to come. So I feel like there's been a lot of grief and sadness also from a grandparent's point of view.
The fear.
So,
the fear, I think. You know, those mums talking.
This is a space that's already isolated, right? Like you're already isolated when you have a baby. I've never felt in a way more kind of out there in the trenches alone than when I had my first 2 babies. And then we add the kind of state of this world onto that.
The uncertainty.
It's so massive.
Yeah, absolutely. And just not, you know, the calls that I was getting were from families saying, you know, I don't even know if my partner can come in, and am I going to be alone in the room when I'm having my baby? And you know, birth is so, you know, as a, you know, my background as being a midwife, the fear and uncertainty is already so enormous.
Yeah.
To then put that, you know, everybody talks about support being so important, and then to be, you know, my heart just went out to these women. The uncertainty of, am I going to actually be alone?
Yeah.
You know,
And what kind of world am I bringing my baby into?
yeah, absolutely. Because you think that at the best of times, you know, what world are you bringing your baby into? But
I do.
like literally, what world?
And off the back of the bushfires, which was already pretty traumatic,
Yes. Yeah.
you know, we kind of just recovered from a really hard summer,
Yes.
I think.
Yeah. True.
So kind of at that global level,
Yeah.
it was, you know, hard not to, it probably wouldn't have taken much for people to feel more traumatised or more alone.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Definitely from a door's point of view, for people that were booking, that, you know, they're often needing the support to start off with anyway, and then being told that they weren't able to have that support in hospital.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
And
So
not
it's
and-
not
and
birth
then
pictured.
visitors in hospital,
Yeah.
family not able to
Yeah.
be with you.
Yeah.
Like you said just before, so many grandparents that just couldn't, the grief around that. Yeah, it's massive. And I guess all we've been able to do is try to kind of create a new narrative where we're finding the positives, where we're acknowledging the grief,
Yeah,
but
I
finding those
understand.
positives for
Yeah.
people. And I think
There
that's
have
what we've
been
tried
some
to do
beautiful
through the group.
positives.
And I think there have been some
There
beautiful
have been.
positives.
I think
Yeah.
breastfeeding rates are up.
Yeah.
I heard this year. That's,
Yeah.
Jaundice
because of
rates
the
in
time.
private hospitals in the early days are down
Yeah.
because mums and babies are bonding a little bit better.
Yeah.
And all the parents I've spoken to in hospital, when I say, how have you found the lack of visitors? They say, it's amazing.
Yeah.
We love it. We
And
just-
dads are home for longer,
Yeah.
so they're having more longer time to spend
So
with
with
their
the
Yeah,
baby.
bonding,
amateur
dad's
births.
bonding, yeah,
Rates are down as well.
which is incredible.
Which is enormous, because that is such a major issue. You know, starting life off as a premature baby,
Yeah.
and for that family, and that, you know, and I
And I
think
wonder why that
you
is.
wanna
Maybe
look at all
people
of that.
resting more, going into the
yeah,
birth, doing
possibly,
less.
possibly.
A lot of people in the group talked about some benefits being they just didn't feel that need to throw on the exercise gear and be back at boot
Yeah.
camp
Yeah.
or be out anywhere
Yeah.
too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was nobody to go,
Yeah.
no one to see,
Yeah.
no one to dress up for, no
Yeah.
house to clean for visitors.
Yeah.
I mean, they were all, I thought, really good positives.
Yes. Yeah.
There've been a few, yeah.
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 Anything else?
I think it's beautiful, that family unit.
Yeah.
You know, because
Dad's stepping up where maybe you know, where a mother or a grandmother couldn't get in there
Yeah.
to help.
yeah,
Dad's had a really big role.
yeah.
The role of dads, I think, in 2020 has shifted in a way that won't change, won't go
Hope
backwards.
so.
Yeah.
Hope so.
They're
It's
in
been
there and they're
beautiful.
on the ground, and it's no longer a situation where dads might do 2 weeks at home and then just go back to work and not
Yeah.
be involved.
Yeah, well, they're
Yeah.
often at work but in the house.
Yeah.
So they sort of
They're
feel
going to
like
hear
they
it, they're going to
yeah.
see it, they're going
Yeah.
to get those cuddles and
Yeah.
nappy
Yeah.
changing opportunities
Yeah.
through the day.
Yeah.
And certainly from the point of view of from my point of view, I'm working with lots of families who's obviously the family haven't been able to be here, but dad is in the front room of the room, but they
Yeah.
don't have to worry that they have to be in and out of the place all the time because they've got
Yeah.
support in the home,
Yeah.
which luckily we can now go in and you as well, go into the
Yeah.
home and
Yeah.
help people and support them. But yeah, I think that dads have been a big, huge part. They're
Yeah.
integral. They just, you know, now they really
Absolutely.
realise how important they are. Or
Yeah,
dads, partners, whoever it is.
Yeah, we love
Yeah.
dads, don't
Yeah.
we?
It's
Yeah.
all the
It's all-
incidental stuff, I think.
Partners, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that you don't realise at the time, but in terms of that mental load, I think that
And
the
they're
confidence
more
building
into
was
it. They
it.
know
Yeah.
the formula tin's getting low, or
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
whatever's happening.
Yeah.
If they can settle their baby, it makes such a difference
Yeah.
to their
It's confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
real
really
teamwork.
that's just that
It's
being
time,
thrown
isn't
into
it?
it,
Yeah.
getting in on the ground and sort of having a go.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So we've already kind of talked about some of the highlights for us all.
Yeah.
But is there anything else we've missed?
Look, I think it's been a really interesting year,
It has
hasn't
been an
it?
interesting year. Yeah.
And I think everybody and all of our mums in the community have navigated it really well to the best of
Incredibly
their
well.
ability. We've just been so grateful to have been there
Yeah.
for part of that and to create a space that mums can come into and they know that's happening on a Monday morning and can turn up and
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been so good. And it kind of, I guess, we've been talking more and more about where we want this to head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2021.
Because we are getting more out there now.
Yes.
We're not in the
Yeah,
lockdown
we're sort of
anymore.
we're noticing more and more that it's pretty hard for people to commit to
they're
the
probably-
Zoom group.
They're probably at their mum's group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. We love that. Their mum's groups, or they're out exercising, or they're meeting people, or they're
Yeah,
connecting.
absolutely.
Yeah, which is so
Physical
good.
connection
It is so
is really
good.
important.
And I guess what stood out that people really have gotten from Ready Together, and you talked about it earlier today, but just, good info that helps with
Yes.
the baby stuff. We do so much education in this country around birth,
Yeah.
and then suddenly people have their baby and it's like, well, how do we feed it? How do we care for
They
it?
hand it this little bundle.
I
Like,
know.
oh, you go bye.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, good luck.
And let's be honest, as we've talked about so much, these babies are in their 4th trimester, they're not ready to be here, and so caring for them it's a whole other caper, and it's not something
And
they're
they're,
really prepped for.
and they're not little adults.
No.
They're not little adults. They're not going to do what we do, and I don't think that's talked about enough.
Yeah, and that's,
So-
I don't think we've had a group where we haven't talked about the 4th trimester.
Yeah.
And
To mum
what
and
our little
baby.
babies are capable of,
Yeah.
and how we can support them to settle and soothe in that
Yeah.
kind of transition from womb to
Yeah.
birth,
Yeah.
and how different those babies are by 12 weeks that are,
Oh,
Yes.
that's the baby we've pictured, I
Yeah.
think, having.
Yeah.
True.
So yeah, we've talked a lot about what we want to do next year, but probably less of the Zoom groups, but more info. We want to
Yeah.
bring some really good content to you guys.
Yeah.
As your babies grow as well, we want to turn our mind to kind of what happens in terms of food and connection with older babies and toddlers. But we want to keep bringing really great info to people that are yet to have their babies,
Yeah.
and people that have newborns as well, and kind of keep that beautiful kind of Ready Together
Yeah.
community going.
I think also different stimulation for different ages and stages.
Yeah.
So I find that all the time, that when they're at 4 weeks, they're able to do different things as they are to 6, and sort of bringing play options and
100%.
play
And that's not
ideas
innate
and-
how to
No,
play
it's not.
with your
It's
babies,
not.
is it?
No. Not at
Nothing's
all.
innate, really.
No.
No,
And
it's
even
not.
that leap from when they're little, like babies, I often talk about it in appointments that I go to, because the family might be saying they don't ever want to feed, they just don't seem to want to feed, and it's because those needs have changed.
Yeah.
But it's not innate.
No.
That the baby looks the same really, so you don't
So
realise.
true. They sort of that continuum
that
of
change,
newborn through
yeah.
the next thing, and
Absolutely.
even their wake windows and their,
Yeah.
what they're capable of, and how to do different tummy time and just lying on their tummy and looking, and really fun options, and you see them developing. So you're
Yeah.
right, it's hard to see the stages that they're at when you see them every single day, and
Yeah.
it's so subtle. The
Yeah,
little
It is so
differences.
subtle.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
So we've also talked about doing a live event of some
Yeah.
sort. We're still working out exactly what that's going to be,
Yeah.
but we kind of figure now we can get together. We'd love
Yes.
to get together, and
Absolutely.
we've got lots of ideas for how to get you guys together in a more physical sense, and that's something we want to sort of work on in 2021.
Absolutely.
Hopefully do
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
So we're excited to come back. We're excited for what's going to happen in next year,
Yes.
in the new year.
And we wish you a Merry Christmas.
Yes, and a happy new year. We will keep you posted as to
Yes.
what it is that we're going to be bringing to you, but we're not going away. If you want to contact us through
Please
the
use
site,
the private
please do.
group. We love that you guys jump on there and ask questions or chat.
Yeah,
And
we see it all the time. So any questions you have for us,
Yeah, let us
we
know.
can yeah, definitely. And thank you for being part of us and our group and community, and for doing such an awesome job. You're amazing.
in a really
parents,
tough
and-
year to
yeah,
become a mum for
Yeah.
a lot of you.
Yeah.
It's been really inspirational to see.
Yeah, it
how-
actually has. Yeah,
Yeah.
it has.
I
I
agree.
don't know how I would have handled it, to be honest.
You would have been great.
Oh.
All right. Bye,
See you
everyone.
later. Bye.